Hi, this is Tyrone Taylor with Junkers101.com. Today I'm going to go over a deal that a student and I put together on a 9-unit apartment complex back, I think it was the first of the year. A student of mine that I met almost 2 years ago, I think in October. The student took her a while to actually put a deal together. I think we counted maybe 13, 14 months. She was doing a lot of the things that I told her to do, but of course she has a career, and I think a lot of it is that she was getting calls on her abandoned signs, actually more calls than I was getting for whatever reason, but she's trying to ask me to assist her in maybe going to look at some houses when she wasn't available to do it, and to evaluate some properties, and we would just split the deal if we put something together, if I brought a buyer to the table. But interesting enough, instead of getting a call on houses, because the houses, her signs only say we buy houses, she got a call from a gentleman that owned a 9-unit apartment complex. And I had recently started studying and had bought a course on commercial real estate, so I was familiar with the process and what to look for to determine if something was a deal or not. But interesting enough, the property was in an area of town that it's very difficult for me to wholesale houses in for whatever reason. Of course, it's all about perception, because some of the same areas that I do wholesale, I think those neighborhoods are very similar, not really different at all as far as crime or considered war zone or not, the type of income, the type of housing structures, ages of houses, the actual value of properties, and so on. All of it is similar to where I do most of my real estate, but my buyers, they are what they buy. I can't control their money. But back to the 9 units, I wasn't really excited about the deal. But the guy gave her a price that made sense from the information that I had learned from the course that I had ordered on commercial real estate. We met with the owner of the property. He had built the actual 9 units from the ground up about 30 years previously, and he had managed that property pretty much the entire time. Sometimes he did use a managing company to do so, but more so he managed and repaired the property as needed. The property was just okay. As I said, it wasn't in the best part of town, so I was like, what the hell, we can still put it in the contract and see what happens. What happened, we placed the property under contract, advertised it in the newspaper, and believe it or not, my phone just started blowing up. As I said, it's an area where I don't really do deals and didn't think I could do deals. But I picked up one thing, if anything else, apartments are viewed differently, especially when you're talking about, I think out of those 9 units, 6 of them were rented. So started entertaining the calls, and got a couple of serious buyers that wanted to see the property. One of the buyers had called the day before. We set up a time with the owner to meet them out there because they wanted to see the vacant properties to get an idea what they were going to be dealing with. But the day that I was going to meet them, 2 other guys called about seeing the property also, and it was a couple of hours before I was supposed to meet the seller over there at the property. Interesting enough, all of us met at the same time. The seller, the guys that called the day before, and the buyers that called on the day that we were supposed to meet. To even add more of a twist to that, those 2 set of buyers, they knew each other. So we all viewed the property together. I told the seller, I had buyers or other investors that I deal with. He didn't have a problem with that. The way this story got interesting, I think the numbers on the property, I think we had it in the contract for $70,000. Well, I'm sorry, I think it was $65,000. We were marketing the property at $95,000. And The guys that called the day before, who I was originally supposed to meet there, they placed an offer of $80,000 on the spot for the property. The other guys didn't give me an idea, so the first set of buyers and I left, but the seller and the second set of buyers remained on the property. What I found out later is that the seller disclosed, which is fine, I really had no control of that, what I had the contract for on the property. This rarely happens, but I knew it was going to be something that I didn't like, but I really couldn't control when everyone met out there, because I didn't want to waste the seller's time to keep coming back and forth to the property. Make a long story short, ended up only wholesaling that property for $5,000 more than what we had the contract for. She and I split those funds, so she made $2,500, I made $2,500. But the moral of this story is that number one, apartments are a lot easier to move than houses, even though that's what I teach, is wholesaling houses. But if you ever come across apartments, whether they're rented or not rented, if the price is justified, they can be moved very, very easily compared to houses, just because supply and demand is not as many apartments as there are single-family houses. This is Junkers101.com. Tyrone Taylor. You have the phone numbers, 205-601-0973 or 205-492-3425. That's 205-492-3425. Definitely check out the other videos that I have here on YouTube. And you can send me an email also with any questions or comments. And definitely look at the video on partnering on deals in your area. Thank you and have a great day. Junkers101.com. Thank you.